This is going to be a bit of a late edition. I'm going to talk about a few things. One being the Roe V Wade situation. Because I know the current thing is now, hey, abortion rights, we're going back 100 years, we're going back to chattel slavery, and we're all gonna be forced to carry babies against our will, and all this bullshit that has never happened in human history, not even fucking once, in any situation whatsoever. So, yeah, no, you guys are full of shit. None of that's going to happen. Calm the fuck down. Stop pretending that everything is fucking falling out of the sky. Okay. I hope women understand that this is your conscription. That's what's going on here. This is your conscription. You guys wanted the vote without the draft. Guess what? The bills come due. Now you have the baby draft, right? I mean, didn't women recently get the draft on top of that, right? Which I don't even know if they fully went through with that or they chickened out like they, usually do when it comes to forcing women to take responsibility. So, not entirely sure. But still, like, guys, there's no, okay. Less than 3% of abortions are because of rape. Less than 3. I think it's close to 1.7 actually. 1.7% of, yeah, and remember, according to feminist logic, if it's 1%, it doesn't fucking matter. Okay, that's according to their logic. When people kept telling feminists that men get raped as well by women, and then they say, "Oh well, it's just 1%, so it doesn't matter." Same logic applies. 1% of women are raped. That, or maybe not. 1% of abortions are because of rape, right? Therefore, we shouldn't worry about abortion, right? You see the logic there? So, if they were consistent about this, which we know they're not, then this would be a different bottle of turtle wax. But again, here's the beautiful thing, guys. Women will finally get equality, right? They'll finally become equal to men. Because how often have feminists said, we want to be equal to men? Well, guess what? Men don't have the right to bodily autonomy either. Guess what? Now you're equal. Now you have the draft, and now you don't get to decide whether your fertility creates a child. Sounds like equality to me. Men have both of those, right? And none of you give a shit. None of you fucking care about the fact that men all the time are forced to sire children. And I mean literally forced by the government, by the woman, by the legal system, to support the well-being of a child that isn't even his in some cases. And in a lot of cases, he didn't want to conceive in the first place, right? He didn't want a fucking kid, and the woman says, too bad, I do. My choice matters, yours doesn't. And ipso facto, he becomes a dad and is then forced at gunpoint to raise said child with all of his hard-earned cash. That's the situation men have been in for a long fucking time now, and no one on the feminist side, on the left, any of those people, communists, any of them, none of them gave a fuck. None of them cared. Fuck, in most cases, they thought, well, good. They should be forced to take responsibility. She's pregnant after all, so she needs someone to take care of her. Well, guess what? Take care of yourself. Right? This is your guys' conscription. Okay? If you can't decide, I don't even think that's going to literally be the case, but that's what everyone thinks it's going to be, so I'll play the ball where it lies. You know, if you think that you're going to be forced against your will to carry babies, here's the funny thing. A good chunk of the feminist side literally fetishize. I'm not kidding. They actually fetishize the thought of killing unborn males. They do. I've seen them do it. They get off to the idea of killing unborn male babies. So they've been using abortion as a weapon against the male gender. Okay, they've been using it as a weapon. And essentially, and I've seen multiple posts of women saying, well, I'm either going to have a girl or an abortion. Well, guess what? Your actions have consequences. Welcome to being a man. Right? Men don't get to decide abortions. You guys wanted to be equal to men. Well, guess what? Now you are. Hate to break it to you, but men's lives are not all peaches and roses. Right? I know you don't realize that because you were fed a bunch of propagandic lies in your fucking feminist-run college courses. But again, that's the truth, okay? The truth is, men are treated like a third-class citizen. Whites are treated like a second-class citizen. Black women are first-class citizens. Okay? And that is the feminist utopia that has been created since the 60s. With affirmative action and all that stuff, right? That is the utopia they sought to create. And now that it's biting them in the ass, they're losing their shit. They don't know what to do. And for those of you that don't give a fuck, ride this out. It'll be hilarious to mine all the salt. It'll be fucking hilarious. And look, here's what bothers me about all this. The only time any of you leftist fuckers give a shit, the only time any of you fucking care about the right to bodily autonomy or the right to separate consent from parenthood to consent from sex, the only time you give a fuck about any of that is when women are involved. None of you ever advocate for men having those rights. As a matter of fact, you think advocating for men's rights makes you Satan. So, you know what? Hey, you wanted to be equal? Hey, here's your equality. Hate to break it to you, but that's equality. You wanted equality. Guess what? You have it now. You have the equality. You are now equal to men. Men don't have these rights. Now you don't. Fair is fair. And God, I hate saying it, but you know what? You fuckers kind of deserve this. You do. You really do. Because, you know, how often have feminists... I'm mostly talking about the left here, because the left is the one losing their fucking tits over this. And, by the way, the Supreme Court broke the Constitution when they decided to make Roe v Wade the law just because reasons, why not, who cares, right? They broke the fucking Constitution when that happened. Alright? And nobody cared. Nobody voiced their opinion, especially not on the left. No one gave a shit because, oh, we're giving women free shit. That's a good reason to break every law in the land and give the Supreme Court more power than a fucking dictator could wield. Yeah, no, that's totally fine. You know what? Why wouldn't we? You know, we're giving women free shit after all, right? And, you know, like I said, this is women's draft. Because drafting women, what are they going to do? They're just going to stay home and get pregnant, right? They're just going to, you know, essentially say, well, I'm not fighting in a war. I'm just going to stay home and get pregnant, right? That's essentially what they're fucking going to do, you know? It's literally what they're going to do. They're just going to stay home and get pregnant. And now the state, the institution you fuckers love, because for over 100 years now it's been giving you free shit and free handouts and all that stuff. Did I just die? Wow, I'm lagging. Oh god. Oh wow, I survived. I will survive. Yeah, no, like, the state. See, this is what happens when you give the state too much power. Seriously. It takes away your rights. Guess what, the left? Men have been dealing with that for much longer than you've been alive. Right? Men have been dealing with having their rights stripped away from them, having their children stripped away from them, having their fucking... and, you know, ever since the whole COVID thing, they've had their, you know, jobs stripped away from them, right? Because men, largely, were the ones saying, no, I won't take your poisonous jab. I won't take it. I'll get a job somewhere else. Right? Women were the ones lining up to get a bunch of poisonous fucking chemicals injected into them because virtue signaling. Women virtue signal far more than men do. Like, you know, even leftist men, okay? I'm half convinced that leftist men only do half the shit they do because they're trying to court leftist women, okay? Leftist women set the standard for the left. They do. They set the standard for their party. But here's the funny thing. If you let the state set the standards for you, they're going to take your shit away. Okay? There was a time when we didn't have income tax. There was a time when we didn't, you know, have to deal with forced conscription, right? And I'm talking men had to deal with this shit long before women had to deal with it, right? With income tax, only men were taxed because women were not expected to have income, right? They had their own little market anarchist economies. They were basically ANCAPs in the home and didn't have to deal with taxation at all because they didn't have the vote. So the government thought, okay, well, if you're not, you know, putting a stake in the country, then we don't have to tax you. So men got taxed, right? That was the original idea of taxation. Taxation of income, specifically. Income tax. So that was the original idea. And forced conscription only affected men, right? Which is also unconstitutional. Look, it's unconstitutional. You guys got the, quote, right to abort in the first place. Roe v. Wade never should have existed in the first place. The Supreme Court just gave you a free privilege because vagina. And oh, you were all for that. You were all for the state having power then. Now that the state thought, you know, on second thought, I think we made a mistake. We should take this back. All of a sudden, you have problems with the state. You made your bed, fucking lay in it, asshole. I hate to break it to you. Hate to break it to you. But, you know, you put your faith in an institution that is built to subjugate and enslave for the sake of its own growth. Right? That's what the state is. It is a fuck the people, we're in charge system. And hey, you're people too. I know you didn't feel that way because the government kept giving you free shit for the past 100 years. But now the rent's come due. You know? And like I said, this is women's conscription. Because, you know, okay. Conscription was for the betterment of society. That's how it was passed originally when we only selected men for it. It was for the betterment of society. It was to protect society from foreign invaders. That was the whole appeal. Women's conscription is the overturning of Roe V Wade. Because now you have to have children for the betterment of society. Because our birth rates are in the shit, guys. All over the world, birth rates are in the shit, and everywhere but Africa. Africa's the only fucking continent where, birth rates aren't totally in the shitter. Asian birth rates are apocryphally low. Japan and China are super fucking low. Most white nations do not have enough birth rate to replace the white population. So whites are going to go extinct in those countries. Goodbye, all of white Europe. It was nice knowing you while you lasted. It was nice seeing you there. All the advancements you gave us, like democracy and the vote, Well, we appreciate those, but, now it's time to make African Europe, Watch them not build any monuments after the white man is gone. So, fun that. See, the funny thing is, I was told by a feminist once that I am extreme right. Whatever the fuck that means. And that was a long time ago. And I've been thinking, if I'm extreme right, then people need to be more right. Okay? And here's why I say that. Because all I'm saying is you wanted equality, you wanted fair treatment, you wanted to be equal to men. Hey, here you are. Now you're equal. Sucks, doesn't it? Oh, it's like a wall or something? Okay, I don't know what that is. I'm just gonna leave that. You know what I mean? Like, good God, man. Like, you guys seriously thought that giving the state all of this power, giving the state unchecked ability to pass laws and edicts without anyone being any the fucking wiser, you seriously thought that wasn't going to bite you in the ass? Seriously? You genuinely thought that wasn't going to bite you in the ass? God, you guys are fucking gullible. You guys are fucking gullible. Jesus. Like, seriously, fucking... Oh, shit. She's retarded. Okay. So this is where the barbarians are at. Okay. Oh, okay, so I go here if I want to join their little faction. I joined the Mages Guild, so I can't exactly join the barbarians, like, at all. Because, yeah, them and the mages don't get along. What the fuck? Was that black metal vocals? What the fuck? Anyways. Yeah, good experience. I don't know where they're at. I'm getting distracted by the game. Okay, so, yeah. Look, I hate to say it, guys. I really do. I hate to say it, but this is kind of what you people deserve. Hey, you give the state so much power, right? You give the state so much power that they are... Oh shit, I didn't mean to hit you. You give the state so much power that it ends up taking your rights away. Well, guess what? That's what the state does. The state's been doing that to men for a long fucking time now. And hate to break it to you, but the MRM, right, the men's rights movement, has been telling you guys for a long time that that's what happens. Okay, we've been telling you that for a long ass time, and you never listened because you just called us fucking neckbeard misogynists and went on your merry fucking way. And guess what? Now the rent is due. You know, now the fucking rent is due, and guess what? You should have fucking been paying attention. Okay, you should have focused on the fact that men were being treated like fucking dog shit for how long, and none of you spoke up, none of you said a damn thing, none of you said, maybe we should curtail the powers of the state for the sake of the menfolk. The menfolk are being treated like fucking slaves and literal fucking chattel, but, we're just gonna pretend that doesn't happen because her dirt vagina. Like, no wonder you people are fucking suffering and nuts and mental and covered in salt. No fucking wonder. You shit on men, you shit on human rights, unless it happens to women, in which case you're all for that shit. You people worship the mound of the holy clitoris, and, guess what? The holy clitoris erected a bigger dick than you. And that bigger dick is now fucking you in the ass. That you guys wanted to give the Supreme Court the power to just create laws and destroy them with the flick of a wrist. You gave them that power. Guess what? Now they're using it. I don't know what more you need to realize that, but hate to break it to you guys, but hate to fucking break it to you guys, but goddamn, like, all this shit was fucking happening to men. Men don't get to decide if they have kids or not. You guys are aware of this, right? They don't get to decide that. Legally, they can't decide that. They can be raped and then forced to, by will of the state, literally forced at fucking gunpoint to take care of a child that they were raped in conceiving. Yes, men get raped too. Shocker, I know. I bet you never thought of that. Like, God, it's weird because it feels like I'm standing on my fucking high horse looking down on you fucking measles. But holy God, man, is this worth it? You people losing your fucking shit, going goddamn insane because, they took away my rights. At least you had them to begin with, asshole. Right? Men haven't had any of these rights. Not right to bodily autonomy, not right to consent from sex to consent from parenthood. None of that. Women had both those rights. Men had neither. And what'd you guys do when the men's rights movement said, hey, maybe we should make this equal? Maybe we should give men some rights that women have? You said, fuck you, misogynist MRA piece of shit. Well, guess what? Now the shoe's on the other foot. Sorry. I don't know what more you want me to say. Right? You guys were all for using the state to beat people up. You guys were all for using the state to fucking assassinate character witnesses. You were all for using the state to fucking, treat people like fucking garbage. You were all for that shit. And now that it's being used on you, you suddenly don't, you're just like shocked Pikachu face. How could this have happened? How is this possible? How could women have lost the privilege, and it is a privilege because men don't have it, okay? You guys need to understand that, right? How did they lose the privilege of deciding your own legacy? Because men don't have that. We fucking don't. I've known men personally who were raped into conceiving children and were forced by the state to support those children while the mom is fucking some other dude and getting his money and using him as resource bait, right? I've known these people personally. I knew a father who had his children ripped away from his hands because the mother filed for divorce. By the way, the mother was on fucking drugs, cocaine specifically, and she still got full custody of the fucking kids. Still. Right? Even though he was, I believe, E6, E5, E6 in the military, Air Force, right? Which is an enlisted rank for those who don't know. And, you know, he was very supportive of his children. Built them a fucking, like a bulldozer tractor, but kid size. Fully automated, fully operational. Built it himself out of fucking spare parts. Right? That's how much he loved his kids. That's how much he provided for them. Mom didn't do any of that shit. She just sat on her ass all day doing fucking cocaine. Or was it crack? Whatever. It's one of those fucking drugs. You know, like, that's all she did. And the state said, well, you're clearly the better parent. Mom who does nothing but drugs and is filing for divorce so she can get fucking drug money. He told her, you need to get off the drugs or I'm taking the kids and we're leaving. The very next day she filed for divorce. And cleaned his ass out. That's the state you leftists support. That's the state you people fucking elected. And now that that state is coming for your blood, all of a sudden you're like, well, how could this have happened? It happened because you let it happen, asshole. The left is the reason why Roe V Wade is getting overturned. The left is the reason why the fucking Supreme Court has too much goddamn power in the first place. The left is the reason why all this shit is going to fucking hell in a handbasket. And what do? Each time some crazy random event happens, they just replace the chip that says current issue with another chip that says new current issue, and they go on from there. Right? First it was COVID, then it was Ukraine, now it's Roe v. Wade. They just stopped paying attention to one current event and now they're paying attention to another. Right? Like that's all it fucking is with you people. I mean, holy fuck, like, how long is this going to go on? This charade of fucking, oh, well, we have to be offended at current topic. Do you support current topic? Because I'm offended at current topic. Like, holy fuck, guys, you people are useful idiots. You elected the state we have now. You people were the only people who actually voted for fucking Biden. Right? The only fucking people. And that's why gas is so goddamn expensive. That's why, fucking Ukraine is trying to sympathize with us so we can join in a fucking war based on a bunch of shit that, like, the whole Ukraine situation is fucked because they essentially, right, put a cannon next to Russia's front door, pointed a cannon at their yard, and said, well, you better hope we don't pull the fucking trigger. Yeah, no wonder Russia's fucking invading, because there's fucking weapons pointed at them. And look, I'm not a fucking supporter of Russia any other day of the week other than today. Right? I mean, it's obvious Putin's basically a fucking dictator. That's more or less obvious. But, you know, Those were my issues long before any of this shit fucking happened. And all you people only gave a shit when the shoe was on the other foot. You only gave a shit when women were affected. You only gave a shit when, the state comes for your ass. That's the only time you care. That's the only time you give a shit. You don't care that men were being used as cannon fodder for, gee, let me count the ways. You didn't care that men were being used as literal fucking breeding chattel. The shit that you claim women are going to go through in The Handmaid's Tale that you jerk off to. Like, how the hell is The Handmaid's Tale so fucking terrible if you people fap to it all the time? Fucking seriously. How the hell is it that fucking terrible if, it's literal fucking jerk-off material to half you people? Right? I'm not kidding. A lot of feminists fap to that book. And it's kind of disgusting. Like, and I'm by no means one opposed to sexuality. I think it's a beautiful thing. But holy fuck, people. What is wrong with you? Holy God. I mean, fucking tits. You know what I mean? Like, this has been going on in the big picture for a long fucking time now, and you people just didn't care. Didn't care. The other aisle, if you will, the other side, was telling you, hey guys, maybe we should come together and fix these issues for men, since you care about equality so much, and you went, shut up, misogynistic neckbeard MRA, virgin loser, incel, fucking terrorist, fucking, just stream of fucking buzzwords. Right? That was your response to people saying maybe we should give a shit about human beings and legal rights. Now that you're losing rights, all of a sudden you care. All of a sudden you're worried. All of a sudden you give a shit. Motherfucker, we've been giving a shit longer than you have. And we've been trying to tell you, convince you to fucking care. And you didn't. You never did. And this is what happens when you let the government have that much power. Congratulations, women. You are now conscripted. Maybe 100 or 200 years later, you'll finally earn the privilege of the vote. Maybe. Maybe. Because men, only 13% of men had the vote when women got it for free. Not just free, but in reverse, because they were committing acts of terrorism during a time of war. During World War I, they were bombing fucking postal offices and setting fire to libraries. Right? The suffragettes specifically. They were destroying public buildings, demanding they get something for free that men have had to work for all the way up until that point, and even to this day, had to work for. Men don't get the vote for free. You do. Right? And the problem with absolute democracy is eventually it becomes absolute tyranny. That's the big problem. If everyone can vote, you have mob rule. That's why in Rome, which is what our government is patterned after, you had electorates. You had people who had an incentive to vote for the populace, for the plebeians, for this group and that group. You had people elected to vote the way their constituents wanted. That was the idea on paper. In practice, it ended up being, well, let's see how much money I can get, and then I'll decide who deserves what it was in practice, and that's partly why the economy fell. So, yeah, way to go, Founding Fathers. Way to set this after Rome. Got all the corruption in Rome. Holy shit. But anyways, women, you've been drafted. You've been drafted into the baby making corps. Which, hey, I remember. I remember women saying, so many women who were pro-abortion and pro-killing babies and, anti-children and all this shit, saying, you know what? If I get drafted, I'm just going to stay home and get pregnant. What happened to that? I thought you were going to stay home and get pregnant. Well, now you don't have a choice. Now you have to stay home and get pregnant. I thought that's what you wanted. God, the shot in Florida is amazing. Seriously, people, like, how could you not have seen this coming? Fucking seriously, how could you not have seen this coming? You gave the state all of this power, and then you're surprised when they turn the gun on you. Shocked Pikachu face? Right? And fucking TK Jerk was like losing his fucking mind. God, he's such a leftist shitbag. I remember back when that man was pretending to be a moderate. Remember that shit? You know, like pre-Gamergate, he was pretending to be a moderate, you know. A skeptic atheist. Isn't it funny how so many of the skeptic atheists end up being leftist douchebags who were in support of the state all along? Isn't that funny? Anyways, that's a little off topic. But you guys get my point. At least I hope you do, because I've said it like 12 times now. Right? You wanted this. You elected this. You wanted this power for yourself. Hate to break it to you, but some people are quicker on the draw than you. And they got to this power before you did. How much you want to bet? The average feminist was given the power. She would put men into fucking camps and check them out as library books. Right? How much you want to bet that would happen? If she was given absolute power. What would an MRA do if he was given absolute power? He or she. There's both genders in the movement. Hard to believe, I know, but it's true. What would he or she do if given the power? They would make the laws a little more equal and try to get rid of some of the power in the state in the process. To prevent goat fucks like this. Funny, isn't it? We wanted to save you the whole time, and you didn't let us. Just saying. Just saying. Maybe you shouldn't have given someone a loaded gun, huh? And keep in mind, this is the same people who think we should not be allowed to own guns. Now that the government is raping them in the ass, they have no recourse to shoot back. They can't defend themselves because they don't have guns. Right? And that's what's hilarious about the left wanting to cause a fucking, not race war, what's it called? Political feud between the left and the right. The right has all the guns. I don't think you guys want that. Yeah, no. Again, this is your conscription, ladies. This state has decided that you don't get these special privileges anymore because we need babies. Because our population is dwindling. A shocker, I know, but it is. Populations are contracting all over the world. Okay, that's been a trend for some time now. It was predicted in the 2000s that this would be the trend, and it's come true ever since. Okay. We need children. We need babies. So you people better buckle the fuck up and start producing children. Or the state's gonna do even more fucked up shit. Look, I was the guy the whole time saying, Maybe we shouldn't be giving the state this much power. Maybe we shouldn't be giving the Supreme Court the de facto rule to decide what and what doesn't happen in America. Maybe we should prevent tyranny. And you people laughed at me. Hey, you know, shoes on the other foot. Sorry. You wanted to be equal to men. Now you know what it's like. Sorry. I don't know what else to say than that. Like, seriously. You guys just don't get it. This happened because you let it happen. You let the state get this powerful, and now they're taking your rights away. That's what the state does. Okay? I know that sounds like an alt-right fucking Giga Chad talking point or whatever the fuck you people call it, but it's true. That's what the state does. They subjugate and control. That's the way states have always been. That's the way governments have always been, all throughout time. From kings to democracies. That's the way they've always been. Some of us understand this. The left doesn't. So yeah. We tried telling you not to give the state this much power. But you wanted to use it as a weapon. You wanted to bludgeon people with the power of the state. You wanted to beat them senseless with the de facto leadership that is your righteousness. That's what you wanted to do. And then you dropped the club on your foot and broke your ankle. That's what happens when you try swinging weapons around all willy-nilly. Your hand slips and the weapon hits you in the fucking knee, or the face, or the dick. For how long have feminists wanted to be equal to men? For how long? Now you are. Sucks, doesn't it? I'll try to end that there. I feel like I'm getting a little repetitive now. So yeah. And in spite of all this, in spite of the world ending because we don't have the right to murder babies,